Hello, hello. Testing. Can you guys hear me? Awesome. Welcome, welcome everyone. Welcome back for the live stream. Great to see all of you here. Just double checking everything and we're good to go. Cool. How is everyone doing? Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining on this Saturday morning. And today we're just celebrating the end of AF5 or Module 5. That was the basics foundation. Gonna give a few more minutes. If anyone has any questions, just drop in the chat. I'll be answering, and then we can start going over stuff. I see Ender here. I see Nambat, Alexandre. I see Menino Jiraya, Lendas Brasileiras. And yeah, how are you guys doing? People are starting to get in, so. Oh, start recording. Cool. All good, all good. We're very excited for what we're gonna start doing, and I'm happy about this module. It was very cool. Wrong account. I'm very happy about like how we pushed on the basics and how we did everything. I think it was pretty cool. And next year, I'll talk a lot about the plans for next year. I'm gonna announce the next module towards the end. I'm gonna announce what we're gonna be doing. I think it's gonna be really cool. I'm excited about it. A little nervous, but excited. And yeah, I wanna share what we did together during this module. Well, people start joining. Anyone wants to share their what they did on the exercises? If you have a sync sketch link or something. I see Shaggy, Do, hello, hello, Smith, yo, how's it going? If you wanna share anything, I will start sharing my stuff. It was fun to do the demos and the homework assignments. It's pretty cool. No questions? Well, let's give like a few more minutes, and then we're gonna start sharing what we did and how it was the module. Meanwhile, just relax. Can talk about anything. Can go grab a drink. After all, it's a rap party. We just wrapped the module, so it. If you work on a studio, there's always this tradition of whenever you wrap the movie or the project you're working, you have a party for everyone to celebrate before the movie is released. So that will be like a wrap party. We finish everything, we celebrate, and then start getting ready for the next. Well, before goes out in theaters or in game before it goes live. Sometimes it's after, but most of the time it's before. And if it does really well, there's another one after to celebrate the success. But there's always one before to celebrate, like, oh, we did it. Huge accomplishment. And we did it. All right. share my screen here. I have the chat. Put Maya here. And we had 11 lessons on this module, which was a good amount to go over the basics. And we started all the way back talking about the 12 principles. Then we talked about rhythm, timing, weight, posing, all the tech stuff, shortcuts and all those things. Hands, specifically for hands. Then we had a live stream for a break week, which we didn't have a lesson, but we're just catching up, seeing how everyone's feeling. Then we start planning one shot all the way to the end. He had three options: a heavy sword swing, start and stop, and sitting down, getting up. So we started recording reference, setting up the layout, setting up the Maya file for a new shot, blocking plus, I believe was the name of the lesson, how to be a fast animator, and then we went for polish. And today is our last lecture, which we should have the shot done, polished, all the lessons, and a small reel of everything we did. So if we look at here, lesson 1, I'm just gonna share a few of my homework that I liked. Just blocking out the bouncing ball with tail. Just basic timing, no squash stretch, no overlap on the tail. Just thinking about timing and spacing, the 12 principles of timing and spacing. Not thinking about overlapping, anything. Anticipation, yeah. And most importantly, the idea. I feel like the idea is always the most important. Anytime anyone has a question, please just drop in the chat. That's why I'm looking this way here. Here's where I'm looking at the chat. Here I'm looking at the screen, just so you guys know. And then we kept going with this exercise to finish it up. And here we had the tail, the squash and stretch, and addressing the notes. So this was our first exercise. And I think it was pretty successful. I saw a lot of people post it, and everyone achieved a very good quality. In general, addressed the notes, and we had like very interesting results here, which was really cool. Then when we talked about timing, this one I really liked. The difference of just changing the timing, same poses, and how we can get different feel, like more realistic on the left, on the middle, little extra hang time, but not cartoony yet, and on the right, very sharp cartoony time, snappy. And this one was very cool too. We had just like the same character, no arms, just anticipation, jump. Again, thinking about all the principles, squash and stretch, and always thinking about posing. We're also posing, having a pose assignment every week. So for whoever is new, is there anyone new here that is not on Patreon? For anyone that is new here, listen, where's my homework here? Yeah, and then we polished that one. For anyone that is new here, I'm so sorry I didn't introduce myself. My name is Alex, and I'm running the Patreon, Animation Flow Patreon, where we have weekly lectures about animation. And this week, this week we're just going over what we did during this whole module that took about 3 months, 12 weeks, and we have new lectures every week. Every term we have a new module with a new theme, and that's pretty much it. You can check it out, the Patreon information on patreon.com/animationflow. Just ask me, drop a comment on the chat. And if you're a member, didn't finish watching all the lectures from Module 5 yet, you're gonna have a little bit of a rewind of what it was and a little bit of spoiler. But if you wanna know like, oh, this was really cool or not, you you're just gonna know what we did. So on lesson 5 we talked about posing, and I was just going over general design principles for posing using this character, how to make it balanced, how to make it interesting, and still put a little bit of intention on the pose. And we had pose A, pose B, and a breakdown. So we're going from A to B. Just 3 poses. And we also start talking a little bit about lead and follow here. But we see how we have like a relaxed pose, looking screen left, a more stretch pose, looking screen right, and a breakdown in the middle. Cool, so this lecture we talk a lot about posing. It's pretty interesting. What the difference between keyframe, like a golden pose, breakdown. So that's cool. On the tech stuff, it's just about shortcuts, scripts, ways to optimize your workflow. Very interesting. And then we talked about hands. The hands when I need to open the Maya file because I remember. I hope, yeah. I remember I didn't export, but I was talking about just like hand shapes. I think they're so important, but not enough people talk about it. And where is my rig? Doing everything like, oh man. I changed computer, but something happened here. I don't have my. I don't have any character here. Huh. Well. Yep. Well, I'll try to get it here. It's a Spider-Man rig, but I don't know why it's gone. But we talked about hands. We did some hand shapes here. How to group the fingers, etc., etc. You'll have to watch the lecture on this one to find out how cool it was, because the rig is gone from my file. I mean, it's here, but it's not here. That is weird. Well, let's keep moving forward. Then we started preparing the new shot. I recorded this reference where I chose the sit down, just like enter, sit down. Sitting down and getting up was the main theme. You don't need to enter or leave screen. So I recorded like several times, different personalities, just to see what I liked the most. Just going over. And then I chose one, export an image sequence, etc. And then we started blocking out, then splining, and then polish, which is the one that I'm gonna open. I did not finish polishing. I stopped where we left behind on the previous lesson. There was see, new computers always everything changes. Right. New shot. I'm using Hina on this one, the proxy version of Hina that is this character here. And here we were going over polish, very small details on everything. And I think we have like 50 frames polished for now. Just need to keep going and polish it up everything. And that was the end of our module. I'm not playing because Maya is loading, but that was the end of our module. Everyone had those assignments. A lot of people participated. They did a great job. If you didn't participate but you still watch it and apply on your animation that you're working, I hope that was helpful. Cool. Yes, I'm hiding one arm here. Let's play the whole thing. I think I ended. I think I ended somewhere here. Put the other arm. Yeah. Go. Just need to finish it up the polish, but that would be our shot. Cool. Coming back here. So that's it for our module. It was really cool. Just quick recap of everything that we did and everything that I did during the classes. If anyone wants to share their experience or get some feedback on something, drop the link on either on Discord or on the chat. I have both open here. And I do have a lot of people who submitted their stuff during the class, but if they're not here, I'm not gonna open without their permission. But you can go on Discord and check it out, all the submissions there. But yeah, anyone has any questions? How's everyone feeling? You wanna share anything? Is my chat working? I prefer to layer animation when I can, but it was nice to see your workflow as I like to go in during the layer process to solidify poses when I'm at certain stages. After seeing your work, I'm sure I can solidify my pose even more to find a middle ground and the best of both worlds workflow in sort of a hybrid workflow. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you watched all the classes, but I was even discussing this in one of the channels, like how should we call this workflow? Because I do like layer too. I go back and forth between layering and stepped, and I call like hybrid, and then we're even joking here, like, oh, how should we call this workflow? It's like a hybrid. It's like a messy workflow, hybrid workflow. Because I do go like I make some key poses, then I go back, I go in and I layer it out and polish everything, and I go back and I delete a lot of stuff and go back stepping and working on the pose, and then I go again and I polish it up. So it's like a back and forth. But uh, I just got on this video. It's gonna be on Patreon. Yes, this video will be. I believe YouTube saves also, and it will be like on YouTube. But it will also be on Patreon. Yes, for everyone that is signed up there. However, anime first person shouting about making one just to practice hand animation. I never did. I do have friends from Valorant that I mean it's their job, but I myself I never did. I think it would be interesting. Maybe one day I'll do something. It's probably gonna be like the hand class, but there are like some rules, like where the camera is, how much of the screen you can use, how clear things needs to be. And yeah, I think it's good to practice if you wanna go into games and this route, like just to have extra on your reel for like the game route into like working on Overwatch or Call of Duty, Valorant. Wow, I said Overwatch before Valorant. That, that's not That's not right. And but yeah, few announcements about Patreon. We're starting a new module next year, which we have one more lecture coming out next week, which will be Christmas Day on Monday. Of course, it's not gonna be anything. I'm thinking about what it's gonna do, and that's gonna be a question for a little bit later. I wanna make a poll and see what people would like to see. But next year, starting on the first week of January, we're starting our new module, and I'm just finishing writing. It would be about 12 lessons, I believe. I didn't finish yet. I don't know if I'm gonna need more or less than 12, but announcing the module, it will be Intro to Gameplay Animation. So we're gonna get deep dive into gameplay animation. So we're gonna switch a little bit and talk about gameplay. What this module is gonna go over, what I'm planning is getting a character, putting this character into Unreal and make a basic locomotion set. So the character is gonna walk. It's gonna be a 2D side scroller. So the character has an idle pose, walk, run. I'm thinking about like two walk speed, so walk and run. Go back to like walk right, right, left, stop, walk back, jump maybe, and something else. Yes, Unreal Engine will be the engine used. Please download it, install, get familiar. I will not be teaching blueprints on Unreal, but I'm gonna share the blueprints that I'm making, and I'm gonna teach state machine. It's more gonna be like how to hook up things. We're gonna focus a lot on animation in Maya, of course, but I also wanna go over how you hook it up this in the engine if you like to make the animation feel nice. So for example, you have the idle, you're going to run, how do you hook it up? And it's gonna take a little bit of like technical Unreal, whoever is experienced on Unreal, they're gonna see me struggling because the engine I use at Riot is not Unreal. So I'm like trying here like, oh, where's this thing? Where's this thing? But I'm gonna get there. There's still like a few weeks. And I'm making a little project before I start with this module, and it's getting there. So that will be our next module. I got a rig from Qfiggins. I'm gonna drop the link of his store here. Qfiggins store. I got a rig from this website, 3D Figgins, and I'm gonna be making a set of animations for a game. I chose a side scroller because it's gonna be very focused on like posing and polish, and it's not just like a back, like looking the back of the character and more like technical. It's more about like the animation and poses. And I think will match the idea that I'm going for. I saw a question here from Shalom. How do you deal with other animators' work? For example, some of the animators animate with IK when supposed to be in FK because for them it's faster. So that's the thing. Usually it depends on where you work. If you work on a feature film, it's very rare that you're gonna get other animators' work. And if you do, or if you, so that's the thing, it's very rare. If you do, usually it's like a bigger change that you would have to like reblock it and stuff. So I would just kind of like start over the shot on my workflow, or if it's just like a section, I will just convert everything to my workflow, all the spaces and stuff. And that's in feature film. In game, we do share assets more often. Like someone starts blocking something and then you need to finish it up, or you start blocking something for someone and they need to finish it up. And what I do is, in terms of like KFK and space switches, I just try to convert everything to the space that I want to work. So like global on the ARM and FK on the ARMs. Yeah, for games it happens a lot. If I see that, like, okay, it will be easy enough to do it in IK, I try to push through. But if it's an IK and I got the shot and I need to do a lot of changes, I just delete the whole arm and reanimate it in FK. I prefer, for me it's faster than trying to figure out what they did, just like redoing it. It happened on Hui of the League of Legends character that I was working. Someone blocked out because we needed to finish like something early, etc. Someone blocked out a shot, and then I took over one of the emotes, and I just converted to FK. We have a tool to just like match it. I just converted to FK and polish it up. It was it was pretty easy. But I personally don't like getting other people's shot. Sometimes it helps. Sometimes I feel like I get their idea and then I get like just their idea and then like I reanimate like a new character on top of that idea. Sometimes it's even faster. Yeah, Skylar, amazing animator, great guy here from Riot. He has intro to game animation on Agora, which very very useful, very good. He goes over like how to put in the engine and stuff. You can go watch there. I think it will help you understand some stuff. I watched this already. All the classes. I watch all the Unreal classes. I skip the animation classes just for time's sake, but it's also very good. But yeah, I'm actually gonna go over here because he explains pretty well about constraining, and my character is probably gonna have a constraint. But Unreal has like so much content online that sometimes it's even hard to find what you want because there's so much that you're just like, okay, but this is not what I want, and there's something else and something else, something else. So many of the same for from like different sources that it's hard. And what I found is like it's very hard to find specifically for animation in Unreal. You find like all the blueprinting and stuff, and then the animation just looks like the motion capture they put from the mannequin, and no one is actually teaching how to like, oh, how to blend in between those two animations, how to make this look better. I didn't find anything like that. How are their deadlines for the animes for a new champion at Riot? That's a great question. It depends on the champ. It depends on the production cycle. Because my team is the new champs team, we have slightly more time than the skins teams, for example. But we do have a lot of exploration because since they're creating the new champ, there's a lot of game design that keeps evolving and changing. So animation starts in, maybe the spells are not locked yet, so we're just like start trying stuff and then things change. I would say the production, we have pre-production, production, and post-production, those three cycles. Animation should be done pre-production and production, and each one is about 2 months. So 2 months for pre-production, you should have an idea of locomotion and every spell, and it's a simple blocking of all the emotes. Production, you should have everything polished, and post-production is where you do the skin one, the launch skin, recall and respawn, and any bug fixing that comes from QA testing. And before pre-production, the champ is still like in development. They have like ideation phase, but animators are usually involved on this, but not 100% on it. Like you're finishing up a champ or helping out on another champ while your main champ is gonna be in ideation. so you're kind of like overlapping a little bit, and then you jump in into pre-production. And that's the thing, like pre-production model is also like getting evolved. Rig, it's also everything is like walking at the same time. It's not like pre-production, production, post-production is for all disciplines. It's not just animation. They are not offset. So VFX is gonna have the same time, and a modeler is gonna have the same time. That means that we're gonna get the final model is gonna be like mid-production, and that means that it's gonna change. Some stuff is gonna change because you blocked out everything in pre-production or a preview module, a preview model. Uh, yeah, thanks, Ender. I'll see you next time. Do you think AI will take our jobs in the future? No, I do not think so. I think AI will help on a lot of stuff that feels like it will. I think it will be much better to do our job in the future. I think we're gonna be able to be more uh, efficient. But okay, to be fair, I think some jobs will not exist, but some other jobs will exist. I think the demand will be higher, so more things, but simpler things will be instead of taking care of a team of five, six, will be just one. So I think you'll ended up even out. This is just my opinion, I don't know. But based on how things are going and what happened from the past to the future, I don't think it's gonna change like 2D to 3D, where 3D took over 2D completely. I don't think so. I mean, didn't take over 2D completely, but a lot of 2D animators had to shift to 3D or change to storyboarding or like one or two studio that does 2D and stuff like that and character design. I don't think it's gonna be that drastic because a lot of animators couldn't get used to 3D, but a lot of them also shifted to 3D. But I think I'm actually excited. I think it will be good. I think it will be better to be an animator in the future. My opinion, but I don't know. But I'm pretty confident. I wouldn't worry about it, to be honest. I think some other jobs are more in risk, like customer support, accountant, things like this. They're actually more like exact, or it has like a pattern and stuff. It's not creative. No, I don't think Blender will take over Maya. I think Blender will grow a lot, but the main problem of Blender being inserted on a big studio is that because it's free, it's very hard to secure it because open source code. So the bigger companies, I don't know if they will insert on their pipeline because of like how much more security they will have to put in. You know what I mean? And I mean the big studios they usually have a proprietary software like Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks. But for like for game studios, I think I think if someone will take over Maya, I believe it will be Unreal. Unreal putting a nice animation kit in inside Unreal, which they are doing already. So I believe this will take over more than Maya, where you animate directly in Unreal. You have like a nice rig and nice UI for animation, and then you model stuff in ZBrush, and then you can go to Maya, Blender, whatever will be like a very small part of the workflow, and then you send to Unreal and just does everything there: lighting, materials, shading, animation, and the final game. So I think that will be more likely to take over Maya than Blender. But that in terms of like years and years from now if everything continues the same. But we'll see. We'll see. A lot of stuff can change. There's also the problem real. I don't know how much they're gonna charge if they change the way they charge. Maybe studios are gonna start looking into building their engine or using a different engine and stuff like that. There are a lot of like little things that can happen. I don't think it's worth to learn animating in Unreal just yet, but I think in the future it might be. I think it might be like where things will be. But we'll see. It's hard to tell, to be honest. But yeah, those are great questions. Uh, where do I see animation flow in how many years? I can read this. 5 years. Oh, 5 years. I don't know. Just having more, like doing more cool stuff, having more, being able to offer more to more people. Because right now I'm limited into 5 or 10. Oh, well, 10 is a lot. I know right now I'm a little limited on how much I can offer to everyone because it's just me, and I just wanna get more efficient with my schedule and maybe start bringing in talent animators to expand, or even other disciplines to expand a little bit more and more people being able to get more content instead of just depending everything on me. But I don't have a 5 years business plan yet. I have like 1 year. Like I do yearly planning, so I have a plan for next year, but I don't have like a 5 year business plan yet. Ferreira, do you think if you want a job as soon as possible, one should focus on TV series real, game real, or both? It depends. What do you wanna work on? If you wanna work on like more the feature film routes, I'll focus on something to get in into TV series, TV ads because the easier entry. If you wanna work on games, I'll just focus on a game reel and try to enter in any game, like mobile game company or anything, like as soon as possible, anything that is hiring, and then keep focusing on either your game reel for the game that you wanna work, or acting shots, feature film polish quality, so you can join a feature film studio. Because that's the problem, like joining a TV series, it's very hard to make the jump between TV series and feature just with the reel from TV series, like just with the stuff that is coming from TV series. So you have to do like some personal work as well. But you have like those two tracks. If you do both, it's gonna take double amount of time, and I think it's gonna be two separate reels, one for TV series, one for games. A game cinematic reel contains cinematic shots. It's similar to, so that's the thing. A lot of cinematic animators they come from feature film as well, not just game, like not just like gameplay animators, because it's similar. The only difference that I think it's how like the theme, how you approach the theme. Like for example, if you're doing something more into like an acting of like just a character making a joke with another character and there's like this nice cute vibe, that will be more into like feature film. If you're making something a little bit more realistic, character with realistic proportions and more like action based, or even if it's acting a more serious theme, a serious acting, that will be more of like a game cinematic. Game cinematics, you just like need to watch the final results. For example, the cinematics from Blizzard, from Riot, from other companies as well, like from Activision or whatever. You see, there's a lot of like very realistic. Some of them even use mocap. Some of them is all keyframe, but very realistic. So that will be a game cinematic. It's kind of like a feature film reel, but focus on realistic. Having creatures also help because game usually has more like creature and stuff. So that will be the main difference. And the gameplay reel, which I'm gonna drop the link from Ben's gameplay reel. I put on Discord, but I'm gonna put it here. His reel from Hui. So that like is showing like how things blend to each other, how like it's very focused on the gameplay aspect. I'm gonna put it here. So that's the difference. Like a gameplay reel, usually you show game assets, even if they're not implemented on the engine. You show like an idle and like an attack and how you go from like the attack to the idle. And I'm talking about like a full keyframe game. I'm not talking about a motion capture game. If you're working to like a motion capture game, then you work more like cleaning up mocap, showing the difference between the raw data to the mocap clean data. But if you're working like a full, like for example, on League of Legends, like full keyframe, that will be like a good example where you show like the assets implemented in game. If you don't have the game implementation, it's just the way you show like different angles and how they make sense for the games, like a walk, it's like a walk, an attack, a spell, and they're very towards like gameplay. It's not like a cinematic moment or anything like that. Cool. I hope I hope the answer. Uh, Jaburo Bean. I love the names. Hey Alex, do you use the space switching method for polishing and constraining stuff? I don't know if I space switching method for polishing and constraining stuff. I don't think so. I usually set my spaces. I don't switch them during the animation. And when I'm like polishing and constraining, I just constrain. I try to use some scripts, but usually I'm just like constraining. If I can, I constrain on a group on top, so I can have like I can still move the object that I'm constraining. And like the FK, all the like had all the stuff that has space switch, and I don't use like the Animbot world space copy and stuff like Xform copy and stuff like that. So I don't think so. If you have an example, like a more specific example, I can try to talk how I would do it. But yeah, I don't think so. Didn't think about it. And the other, yeah, the other question I had, and whoever's on the chat can answer. For next week, what would you guys want to see? Of course, it's one class. Don't ask for something like, oh, two characters dancing. Not gonna do that. But if it's there anything that was on this module that you feel like, oh, I wanna hear a little bit more about it, or if you wanna like, oh, I wanna know how was your experience working on Huawei, like talk a little bit of the process creating some assets, or just a demo, well, like finish polishing the shot, like sitting to stands. Well, I'm gonna drop those three options on Patreon. You guys can vote, but whoever votes now gets one extra vote on that option. I see my references from Richard Lico's course. People say it's mind blowing. Oh, I never saw his course. I'm gonna take a look. I'm gonna take a look and see how he approaches it. I just learned that there's a soft tool for animation graph. Have you used it before? No. I'm very I'm very like non-technical in terms of tools. I don't use a lot of tools. I know they help a lot. You guys should definitely get whatever tool you think will help your workflow. Just like go for it and try to implement. But for me, I it's pretty standard. I just move keys around, scale things, etc. Richard Lico. Whey process start to finish. Yeah, that's a good one. That's I think is my favorite option to be honest. Space switching revolution. Cool. I'll take a look on that. I love his work on Moss. Cool. Whey process is winning for now. And what other announcements? Oh yeah, so Patreon now you can be a free member or a paid member. It's a little bit weird of a change they did because you can just follow. But if you are a free member, you're not gonna get anything, any of the benefits except a notification that like, oh, you should upgrade your tier, which is good reminder. If you're like, I'm gonna subscribe later, I'm just gonna join as a free. But when you join as a free member, don't expect to have access to any of the posts except whatever is gonna be on the free member is also gonna be on YouTube. But just because they changed it recently and it was like a weird change for me to know like, oh, what should I do now? Maybe I'm gonna start posting more things on YouTube and also on Patreon for the free members. But for now, if you join as a free member, don't expect to have access like to the lectures and stuff, because those will be exclusive for Animator 1 and all the other tiers, which Animator 1 is like $1 per month, so you can have access to the lectures. But just so you guys know about it. What is your process animating something that you cannot shoot a reference? Animation mob. Yeah, that's a great question actually. I usually think about it in terms of shapes. So, and lead and follow. So, I don't know if the character is jumping a wall and climbing. And I cannot record reference, I try to Google, find something, and I'm gonna try to like kind of follow it. If it's something that like I cannot find anything, I don't know. I had recently on a class this example. The character is like putting the arm and then falling down. Even if you try to record, it's not gonna feel natural. So what I think about, it's like getting the main poses and think about the lead and follow, working on those main poses to be kind of like doing a comic book. Like I try, like, oh, what is the action I want? And you kind of like do a storyboard comic book kind of like a feeling. Like, oh, I want the character to fall. So I do like two, three poses. And then with that, I start thinking about just like animation principles in terms of what is leading, what is following, where is the weight, why is the weight, like, what is it following? The weight is distributing this way, and this hand is like dragging behind. This hand is leading forward because she wants to try to get her weight back, etc. Let me think about another example. But yeah, but usually I try to storyboard because I'm not a good 2D artist. I try to storyboard directly in 3D, making the main poses. Then I draw over those poses, push those poses. Then I start making breakdowns and I start polishing up. But basically, I'm just like trying to find the essence of the action without reference. Like for example, a lot of the Huey stuff, like an attack, he needs to swing a brush. So we start like banded the attacks, but I did like one of the spells, and the spell like up and down. He needs to swing a brush. I can't just like go out and go out, like keep jumping up and down, trying. So what I did was like, oh, this pose is cool for a landing. This pose is cool for like an attack. The rhythm, I also think a lot about rhythm, a lot about flow. I'm gonna talk about flow all the time, and it's all about like how it's flowing. Sometimes I block just with like a sphere. I'm like, oh, I want this like up, down, and then settle. So I just animate like a sphere there, and then I try to put the character poses on top of this timing. So there are like I feel like shortcuts that you can use if you can't record reference. But I would think about this. Creating like kind of like a 3D storyboard with the main poses, create a rhythm pass for the flow, and then break down and polish it up. I think this will be my general workflow. Every shot it's different, but that will be my general workflow. Thoughts on Panda 4? Yeah, very excited about it. The animation looks fantastic, and I like the villain, the chameleon, a lot. And I really like Kung Fu Panda because there's a lot of like action scenes, very very well done. So I'm excited. I saw the trailer, I was just like, oh cool, that will be fun. And I like the other three. I don't know if it's gonna be as good as the other three because I really like the other three, but it has potential. I'm excited to watch it. Cool. So any other questions? Trying to check if do I watch anime? No, unfortunately, I do not watch a lot of anime. I watch it a few. I even wonder if Ben is asking this because we have this discussion about me not watching anime. I should watch more, I know, but I don't really watch anime much. I watch it a few, but not too much. How did you start with your career? That's a great question. You can go on YouTube and there's a video there that it was a live stream that I did. Let's talk about careers, and I go over like my old animations. It's whoever watch it here can say. I'm gonna drop the link in case you guys want it, but at this one, and I go over like all this old stuff all the way to what I'm doing currently. What do I do for fun? And you can't say animate. Oh no, I don't do animation for fun. So I'm not gonna say that. I I mean, I do I would say like regular stuff, but no, I do like a lot of sports. I play soccer every week, sometimes like 2 times a week even. I like going to the gym. I like just going to like to the pool, stuff like that. I consider myself very active. Like when I'm not working on a computer, I'm usually out doing something. I don't like much to stay. That's why I don't watch like anime and stuff like that. I like being out active more, and I do play games sometimes as well. Not as often though. Hanging out with friends, going like, I mean, it's unfair to say like, oh, I like traveling and stuff. Almost everyone likes traveling, but it's a little tougher to do that just for fun. Like you finish work and just like, oh, I'm gonna go travel. But but I think my main things would be just like relax, watching like series or movies, and doing like some kind of sports. Going to the gym. I like boxing. I do. I do like a lot. Like I took boxing classes before, thinking on doing it again, climbing, all that, mostly like active stuff. And it helps me a lot because it separates very well. Like I'm on computer, I'm working, I'm out of the computer, I'm doing something that is like the opposite of working. Really, I'm using like other parts of my brain. So that always helps me be fresh, pretty much. And I don't watch a lot of animation. I usually watch more like live action stuff. And the animated movies I like to watching when they're releasing just to have like updated on what is being done and stuff. But I'm trying to get back of like drawing and maybe like some 2D animation on like the free time for fun. But it's just it feels like work. That's why I didn't get into it yet. But I wanna do some like simple 2D animation. 2D or 3D animation? Is that a question of like what I like or what I think it's better? What I think it's easier? Because there's different answers for all of them. I like 2D animation. I think it's beautiful to see when it's well done. It's like amazing. I prefer 3D animation because I am not a 2D animator, and for me it's really hard to draw. But I think I prefer in general 3D animation because 2D, I really like the old 2D stuff and like I like watching 2D feature films. But I think 3D because I do it and stuff. I would say it's like my favorite for watching. I don't know. I'm excited to watch. Have you guys watched the Miyazaki movie, The Boy and Heron? I think is the name. I'm excited to watch that one. I think it'll be pretty cool. But I would say I generally prefer 3D. Just my opinion. Yeah, I was like that where all my hours I was like in front of the PC and then like free time, personal shot. And then I was like, okay, I need like even it's like 1 hour break is not gonna hurt your final result performance and you're gonna have like a clear for me at least like I go to the gym or I go play soccer or something, when I come back my mind is like completely fresh. If I just like keep trying the same 1 hour, if I have like 2 hours, I took a break of 1 hour, the next 1 hour is gonna be so much more productive. So, did you watch Blue Eye Samurai? I started. I watched the first episode. I need to keep watching it. It looked fun. It looked fun. I like it. 3D animation with 2D texture. I think it's cool. I even wanna do something like that. 3D animation on choose. It's still a little interesting. I kinda like more on ones, but some stuff is very well done on choose. So I like the mix that they did on Puss in Boots, and Spider-Verse also did very well on trying to maintaining everything on choose, but having some stuff on ones. But I think Puss in Boots also did like all the acting and stuff feels very polished on ones, and then some stuff on choose. But I don't know. It depends on the styles. Like it's complicated. My personal preference would be whatever fits the overall style, starting from the idea to the character design to the final result. If everything goes towards like a on choose 2D look, like Arcane. Arcane, I love that it's on ones, but it's still like with 2D textures, but it still has like some depth and like 2D VFX and stuff. So for me, Arcane, it's my favorite style in terms of like innovation and being like cool to watch. But I'm still a fan of Pixar style CG, realistic but cartoony, like pretty to look at. So kind of like what DreamWorks also does. But I don't know. Like I really like Bad Guys. It's like in between. I like Wish. it was also like a nice in between. Puss in Boots was also cool. So it's cool that they're like different styles. That's why I think AI is not really gonna take over our jobs because there's so many different, especially these days. And Spider-Verse started this trend. I mean, Fortiche started this trend a while ago with the Jinx clip, but then Spider-Verse took the bold step of like putting a full feature film on this style, and now everything's like so different, so it's cool. Uh-huh. Cool. Yeah, so someone just asked the same question, like few minutes ago, not few minutes, like 20 minutes ago, on AI improving. I do not think AI will replace us. I think it will just help. I think it'll be better to be an animator in the future. And I don't think you should be scared. But to be fair, I do think some jobs will be lost, like a team of 5 or 6 for like a preschool cartoon. It'll probably be like 1 or 2 to take care of like 30 minutes. But yeah, thanks for the link, Aaron Blaze. AI will be not taking your job. But yeah, I think AI will just improve our lives, to be honest. I think AI will just make it easier to be an animator in the future. Because for me, for example, what takes the most time is like I love the part of where I have an idea, I start blocking out some poses, and then I see like, okay, that's exactly what I want. And that's like pretty fast for me to get it. But then from that to the final polished result, there's a huge gap. And if you watch it here and you watch it here, there's literally no difference on how you would react to that scene. So I think this gap will be shortened by this. But this, I don't think will be able to be replaced. And I still think some stuff will have to be like hand draw. I think just making like a dumb comparison, kind of like Toon Boom and traditional 2D. Like you can move like translate stuff around and set keys, but if you need something specific, you need to animating like on choosing 2D drawing over. But if you wanna just like translate stuff around, you don't need to draw every like the same pose every time just like translating around. So I think in this general feel will be something like this. Of course, different, but something like that. But yeah, I wouldn't worry. I feel like the demand will be much higher in the future. Games are gonna be like the GTA, for example, GTA 6. How much they did for that game. Imagine like how many assets. I think the junior job will require a lot more. So yeah, not like less junior jobs. I think to be a junior, you'll be required to produce more. And it is like that already. Like when I started, it was easier to be a junior, and now you need to be much better. Similar to when 2D and 3D, but I think it's not gonna be as drastic because when 3D started and then there were like the 2D animators, it was like a whole shift. And I don't think it's gonna be a big shift. I think it's gonna be like an improvement, like an add-on. Because shifting from 2D to 3D, it was like a lot of like different skill sets. If you're not used to computer and stuff, it's hard to get into like this software that's all complicated. From 3D to AI assistant thing, I don't think it's gonna be like such a huge like oh wow, it's gonna be really hard. You're still gonna need to learn, but I don't think it's gonna be that hard. I'm excited for the animation. Can't wait. Imagine. Oh yeah, concept art is it's crazy. It's insane. I was at Lightbox and people like just in college they're doing like crazy stuff and they're every time requiring more and more. Which, but at the same time, like if you watch a movie from 2010, very good animated movie, let's say Monsters or Ratatouille or Wall-E or Madagascar or what else? Megamind, like all those like famous 3D movies from like Pixar, DreamWorks. The animation quality is as almost as good as the current movies, but the technology grew by like more than 10 years. There are like a lot more tools, a lot more like things, but the animation itself, it's almost the same. It's not as polished maybe, but still, I feel like some animation from like 2006, 2008, it's better than some animation that is being like on the current movies, Pixar, same studios. And I think that's because the demand is higher. There are more animators in other companies too. So more people are getting hired, and it's just like the animation is still animation. You know what I mean? So I think it's not gonna maybe in like 50, no, not 50, but like 20 years, I think I'll be worried. But I think we'll still be similar and we'll be talking about, oh, what if AI plus is gonna take over our jobs? And then in 50 years, like, oh, what if AI is worried that we're gonna take their jobs? That'll be funny. All right. So do you guys have any other question? Want to talk about anything? Anything cool? Anything planned for the holidays? Make sure to check it out. If you haven't finished watching the videos yet, check it out. Use the break to finish it up. It was a very fun module. I'm planning for next year a lot of cool stuff. I saw someone ask this Discord, what exactly is years of experience? That I saw that too. So yeah, that is very I think that's it's a little hard to for me to say. I feel like a recruiter will be able to reply better. But basically, whenever you're applying for a job and they ask like 3 years of experience and one shippable, like one shipped game, usually you need to have worked on another game company and have shipped a game because they wanna know if you are like if you worked on a studio production before. You're not just like an entry level. But that's the thing. If your work is as good as what they need, and you work only 1 year on that company, but you shift like a triple A game, you have 1 year experience, I think they would override this 3 years experience because you have studio experience and your work is good. But generally, to get to the position they are opening, they probably made some kind of research where they see like, oh, people with 3 years in the industry usually has the experience we need. But for game companies, I do believe they consider like having shipped a game to for you to get in because there's all the like working into in a production or something similar like work in a production and like having the experience of talking to game design and other disciplines to make sure you pass through that because like they're expecting that on the position they're opening because not an entry level. But they like if they ask like 5 years experience, usually it's like 5 year experience or equivalent. I think it's like if your work is up to that standard, and you worked on like somewhere, and I think that will be good. I don't think you should worry about like, oh, I need 1 more year and then I can apply. If it's the same rule, I think you should apply if you have like 2 years experience. If they require 3 years. Lens. Alex, I'm initiating my path towards the animation career, and I see a lot of people talking about having a mentor and going to anime schools, but this is something I cannot afford at the moment. Is there somehow a way to get a job only by studying alone? Yes, I do think so, and that's one of the reasons why the Patreon, I try to keep the price as low as possible because it's exactly to help on having good quality content for anyone that cannot afford like a full animation school or university, which is very pricey. And with, in my opinion, I mean, you guys will be better judges, but in my opinion, with the $1 tier that you have access to all the lectures, following the homeworks, I believe you'll be able to get to a position where you can find an entry level job. But it is very personal. Everyone is different. Some people need some more like guidance. Some people need some like school environment and colleagues or like classmates and stuff like that. But I believe in terms of like the animation lectures, the content that is there, and the other content that is online, and I did like highlight them before as well. If you're just like starting, there's like some other content that you can go over. I think you're able to find a job. I don't think it's necessary to have like a an animation school degree. It will help. It will help. It will make you faster. Probably will make you faster if you have a mentor, if you have 101, or have like one of the tiers that has mentorship benefits. I think that will definitely speed up to have uh, like specific notes on what you're lacking instead of you realizing that after trying and trying and trying. But it is possible to just, in my opinion. And if you don't want like, oh no, I don't have $1 per month, I don't want to commit to this, like to watch those lectures, even just like looking up on YouTube and trying, it's gonna be much harder, yes. But I believe it's possible. But it's gonna be much harder. Just just being honest, because I tried studying by myself. It's hard, and then I took classes and stuff. But you can still get there. I believe so. Cool. I hope that answers. And yeah, so for next year, I'm very excited to start the gameplay, intro to gameplay animation. I'm gonna try to do something really cool, very towards animation. Thanks for the response. Also, how much time do you think it's going to take to get an entry level? I don't know. It depends on the person how much they are putting into it, how quickly they're getting. It can take anywhere from like 1 year, couple years, few like 6 months. If you're just starting, never worked with CG before, I don't think it'll be realistic to say like, oh, in 3 months you're gonna have a job. It can happen, but I don't think it's realistic, being honest. But also, I don't know if it's gonna be like 5 years. I think that will be a little too much, for example. So it depends. Like everyone, kind of like some people start like very slow and then they pick it up and go fast, and some people just start like, oh, I understand all of this, and then they just need to put the time into making the assets for a reel, like the shots for the reel. But it's hard to tell. It's very personal. You can watch. I put the link here for the YouTube video, and you can watch like how much took me from like studying to the first. But I wouldn't. The thing is, I wouldn't try to rush. I'll try to just do it really well, and then the job will come. Because if you try to rush it and the stuff is like half half good, could be better. I think it's better to just like try to do the best you can, and then the job will come. A specific question about the Brazilian animation market. Do you think it's easier to get an entry-level job here than the ones from the gringa? I think it's easier. Yeah, Brazil needs a lot of animation because of the work from home. A lot of the good Brazilian animators are are like working remotely. So the Brazilian studios they need people, and of course the pay, the competitive pay is like hard to get like an animator that is freelancing to the US or Europe, and how much the Brazil is paying. So I think it's easier to get like an entry level. And the thing is, the Brazil market, the content that we put out, it is actually pretty good quality. You can get some jobs that are like the quality is very, very good. So I think it's a good like a good idea to get an entry level in Brazil and then start expanding to get clients overseas. Do you know any community that gives free feedback on our exercises? I believe Agora does that, the Agora Discord, and people just like drop feedbacks on what you post. I don't know which other one. I'm not I'm not sure. Do we need to speak the language to work remote? It depends on the studio. Most of it speaks English by default, even like sometimes in a Brazilian studio they get freelance for like overseas and they speak English with this person. And the same goes for like a Spanish studio, French studio. Usually they all centralize in English, but sometimes it's like a specific. I think when it's so specific like this, you're not even gonna see the job opening in English. So I think English would be good for it. Cool. A lot of great questions. Thanks everyone for participating. And mm, I agree. I don't know if I would get the junior opportunity as fast as I got if I weren't in Brazil. Yeah, and I mean it depends because you can also get some other countries like India usually hires junior animators for like fast-paced production that you can work on. And I think like some countries in Asia like Malaysia also hires, but then it's gonna be very similar to, and like Argentina, some like Central America countries also hire like more entry level junior animators. But then you're gonna have like all the time difference if you are in one of those places and you're working for the other side. It's gonna have like the time difference, the language barrier. So if you are in one of those places they hire for like entry level junior positions, just use this opportunity so then you can grow and go to the markets. Like Europe market usually pays more and is a little harder to get in because how many schools there are. Canada as well, they have a lot of animation schools in there, and there are a lot of people in Canada already in the US. And the US is pretty hard market to get into because of politics, and but with the work from home, it's just like there's a lot of animation schools and universities here, so they usually look for those places before looking online everywhere, especially because of like time difference and language barriers and stuff like that. How do I find those positions in other countries? Google, usually, LinkedIn, Indeed. I personally don't know really. I know about like in Brazil because people reach out to me, but I don't know if they have like a job opening where they would post. And other than that, I haven't looked for like those positions. I just see like on LinkedIn things popping in on my timeline like, oh, this place is hiring, this place is hiring. There is a spreadsheet that someone made that has like job openings from everywhere. It's pretty famous, and I think someone shared once on Discord. I don't have the link, but you can try to Google it like spreadsheet of animation job opening, and then you're gonna see like from every country. And I mean, Google and talking on like community, like if you enter like some, oh, that one, thanks. Someone just posted a link. I'm gonna share this link on the YouTube chat as well. But yeah, like being part of a community and talking to other animators that are on the same level as you, just trying to be more present, like have some network, that also helps. Cool. All right. If you guys have any other questions, just let me know now. If not, we're about to wrap. Next year, very exciting. We're gonna start getting a little bit into games. It's not gonna be just games next year, just so you know. We have a lot of stuff planned, and I'm planning on bringing back. I'm gonna tease now, not gonna officially announce, but I'm planning on bringing back the push the pose, and I'm gonna put on YouTube, free for everyone to watch. It's gonna be like 5 minutes video, usually 3 5 minutes video. I think it'll be really cool. I always like to do that. That push the pose. I wanna do some more YouTube stuff just to have extra like short things to watch, so people get like, cause sometimes I know it's hard to 1 hour class. I would watch twice as fast, so it will be like half hour. But then you like skip some things, so like 1.5 times faster. And then, but like still, you need like a lot of commitment to sit down, watch it, pay attention, check everything that is happening. So I just want to start bringing like short things, 5 10 minutes max, and just put on YouTube so people can still like feel excited and follow like some quick tip like, oh, IKFK, space switch, Anim bought something, etc., etc., and then push the pause. So that's planned for next year. Very exciting. And Unreal, let's start getting into Unreal. I think it'll be really cool. Get prepared, install Unreal. It's free to install from the Epic Games website. The computer needs some like requirements. Take a look on the requirements. But that's pretty much it. If no one has any other questions, I'm gonna wrap it here. Gonna put it back. This. Gonna wrap it here. Our wrap party for the basics module, strong basics foundation, AF5, and we're done. We're done with this module. It was amazing. It was amazing to have everyone following it. Whoever didn't finish or is gonna start like watch this later, start watching the module. It was really fun. As always, if you have any questions, just drop me a message on Discord. If you're not subscribed yet, I'm gonna drop the link again of the Patreon. So you can have access of all the all the lectures and the Discord access, and we can keep the conversation going. And thanks everyone for coming. It was really fun. Always happy to talk with all of you. Thanks for the amazing questions. And yeah, happy holidays, happy new year, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Stop.